What up, everyone? Back for another video. This time we got our monthly subscription box review. I'm going to take very monthly subscription boxes, put them head to head to help you find the best box for you. Best for your value, best quality, best for your interests, so on and so forth. So, I want this to be your one-stop shop for all things monthly subscription. So if you ever have any questions or ever want to know anything or see anything, just let me know in the comments. So as promised, I got some new boxes here. Right now we have 7 boxes and 3 of those are brand new ones we've never seen before. So I'll do those ones first because I feel like that's what people are most interested to see. And I've also moved this setup up a little bit because people said they wanted to see stuff in the boxes more, which is fine. So I'm going to try my best to actually take things out and actually show them to you so you can see them up close and personal. So if you want to skip around and don't want to watch every single subscription box, feel free to do so. Just look for the boxes in the corner if you're looking for a specific one. You can skim through the video and find the exact box you want to see a review on there. So, that being said, yeah, let's get right into it. This would have come earlier, by the way, if Loot Crate would send me the fucking box they owed me. They've been so behind on everything, holding up videos. So I wanted to do this earlier, but I can't do that until people send me the boxes they owe me. Here I am. So, let's jump right into it. First off, we got Zobie Productions. Now, you only see one box here, but I actually ordered 2 from them. This box showed up with a bunch of stuff mixed in there, and I was really confused. I wasn't sure which box they had sent me. When I did a little research, I found out they sent me both in one. Why they did that? I don't know. That's such a weird thing to do. I ordered 2 separate boxes, and they just crammed it into one and sent it to me. That's such a weird thing to do. I've been getting these boxes for 5 years. I've gotten literally hundreds of them. And companies that I've ordered multiple from, I've never heard of a company doing that. I mean, it was nice that they tried to save me on the shipping, but that's just very odd. And Zobie does a lot of stuff like that that's just very strange, very unusual for companies like this. And I've had issues in the past with them. As you saw in my last one, I had a big dispute with them. But, you know, trying to look past that and move on. And I got 2 boxes here. One is the Zobie Metal box, and the other one is the Pop Culture box. Now, I thought the Pop Culture one was a reoccurring subscription, but I'm not sure because I haven't been charged or sent another one since this one. So, again, who knows? This company does very odd things. It's kind of hard to get a hold of them sometimes. And let's start off with the Metal box. So we'll pull out all the stuff we got here. And I think I'll just talk about the value as I'm holding up each item so I don't have to go back through them, if that makes sense. So the first item we got in here was the Andy Black from the Black Veil Brides autograph. Cool. So as far as this is concerned, this is going to go for about $30 to $40. Sometimes it's hard to value these autographs because it makes a difference whether they have a COA or what COA company sent that out. There's so many variables, so the range can go for like a lot higher and lower than most of the estimates, but trying to do my best. But this seemed to be going for around that price, around $30 to $40. And yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. So one problem I had with this box right off the bat is that I realized as soon as I opened it that I'm more of a traditional classic metal fan, and these are much more modern metal bands. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm sure they're great. I'm just not super up to date on these kind of things. And so I realized right away that maybe I'm not the best person to review it, which is unfortunate, but I don't know why that didn't hit me. When I saw a metal box, I instantly thought of all the metal bands I liked, not even realizing that there are probably hundreds more bands that I haven't heard of, and that's kind of what happened. I didn't recognize most of these people, so I'm trying my best to give it a value, but keep in mind that I'm not super up to date on all the metal stuff. I'm more of a classical metal guy. So I don't know a lot about Andy Black. I've heard of the Black Veil Brides, but I don't know a ton of their music. So it's hard for me to say whether that value is spot on or not. So I'm strictly going off the numbers I've read. What it's been selling for, what it's listed for, and averaging those out. Keep that in mind. So Andy Black, Black Veil Brides, autograph picture, $30 to $40. Next, we got Josh Bowles from Motionless in White. This one was going for a little less, which I'm assuming that means a little less popular. Whether that means the band's a little less popular or this person specifically is a little less popular, hard to say. But this was only going for about $20, and they really weren't selling online. So there were a lot of them listed for around that $20 price, but none of them were selling. So it's kind of hard to put an exact value on it because if something's not selling at that price, it's technically not worth it. but there's no more information out there for me to go off of, so the best I could do is go off what the listing prices were, and that was about $20. But if they're not selling, that kind of says a lot. So there we go, Josh Bowles. Next, we got Molly Rennick. And this is, I'm assuming they're just kind of going down the line, less popular, less known, because the price gets lower, and then obviously this got smaller. The picture got smaller, so that's usually a giveaway of things a little bit lower in quality. So she's from Living Dead Girl, and her autograph, there were a lot of listings for $40, but the only ones I saw sell were for around $10. So I'd like to give it that $40 value, but not quite if it's not selling for that. So this is only getting around a $10 selling value, so that's what I have to value it at. So this is going to get about $10. And again, never heard of Molly Rennick, never heard of Living Dead Girl, but I'm sure they're cool. I'll probably check them out now. And then the next item was we got an XMen Johnson guitar pick. So this said from his collection. I assume that meant from his personal collection, but now I realize that probably doesn't mean that. And that's fine. I think that's just the brand of the guitar pick. And these go for like $10, give or take. Like the values are kind of all over the place. It kind of depends on what you got, what the design is. But, you know, I think roughly for a decent quality guitar pick that's somewhat collectible, $10, sure, why not? So that's right there. Here, I'll try to give you a close-up of it. Actually, let me take it out. There we go. So that's what the guitar pick looks like. Boom. XMen Johnson. So, like I said, around $10 for that. Then the last item we got, they call it their print. They call it an art print. Not an art print, by the way. A metal print, sure. And that's kind of a coincidence because it's a metal box. So this is just a print of a band. Just literally a picture of them. And then I got the one from Black Veil Brides, which is cool because it goes along with the autograph. And I'll probably put them in a frame together. That'll look nice. But you had an option of getting different bands for that. And the price on this is about $10. Nothing super special about it. It's about the same when cheaper boxes put an art print in there and it's not signed or numbered. It doesn't really have too much value. It gets its value from its limited number or its signature, and this has neither of them. So it's pretty much just worth what any print would be on metal, and honestly, that's $10. You could probably find them for cheaper somewhere, but I'm being generous in the values here. So those were all the items in the box. Overall, again, it's tough to say because I didn't recognize a lot of these bands, so people in the comments will have to help me out if you did recognize these, whether you'd be interested in something like this, and that'll help out a lot. But as far as the value goes, on the low end, we got $80. On the high end, about $90. So this ends up being a $52 box. So we're not quite getting double the value. And again, a lot of these values were pretty hard to judge by. So the only thing I can say is keep in mind, you're probably going to have to be a much more modern, up-to-date metal fan. If you're more of a classic, traditional metal fan, I'd probably say skip this box because I don't think you're going to get autographs from like Metallica or something like that. Those are just never going to show up in the box unless you pay outrageous prices. So it's going to be modern bands. It's going to be some of the lesser known band members and lesser known bands. That being said, I'm going to give this box a 6.5 because it was still good. I recognize some of the people. I recognize some of the bands. And they are authentic autographs, so that's good. And you're getting decent value even on the lower end of some of these artists here. Like, you're still getting decent value, not quite double it, but you know, decent enough. But again, more modern versus classic fans. But I try to do my best to give a rate on this, and I'm going to go with a 6.5. Let me know what your thoughts on that in the comments, and we'll move on to the next box. All right. So again from Zobie. So this was their pop culture box. So first of all, we got our celebrity autograph, Drea de Matteo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea, though. She's been in a bunch of shit. She's been in Sopranos. She's been in Desperate Housewives. She was in Sons of Anarchy. And the one I recognize her from was from Joey, the Friends spinoff that didn't take off. I think they did one season of it. That was Joey's sister in that show, which is funny. That's great. But she's done a ton of different stuff. I guess she's most well-known for Sopranos. I never watched the show. Heard it was good, but I knew who she was, at least recognized her face. Maybe didn't know her by name, but recognized who she was. And that's pretty much the standard we live with as far as Zobie and Bam Box. It's people you recognize, but maybe don't know them by name. And that's the perfect example there. So as far as the value on this, it was going for right around $25. There were a ton of listings at that $25 range. A ton of them sold at that $25 range. So it was almost spot on, worth 25 bucks. So sure, I'd pay 25 bucks for that. Next, we got a shirt. Here is the shirt. Ta-da. So this is Big Worms Ice Cream Truck. This is from Friday, the Chris Tucker Ice Cube movie. I remember that movie. I liked it. It was a good movie. This shirt, on the other hand, not so great. First of all, they printed it on Gildan. I've gone on so many rants about how Gildan just does not make good shirts. Back in the day, all the companies put it on Gildan, and I had to give them a talking to and tell them to get nicer shirts. These are about as low quality and cheap as you get. They're just very rough and coarse, and they're not high in quality. And the actual design on it, it's fine. It's okay, but there's really nothing special about it. Wasn't a ton of design quality to it. So as far as the value, it will get the standard $12 to $15 range, as all t-shirts do. But on a score on the shirt, I'm only giving it a 2 out of 10 because I wasn't blown away by the design. I don't like it too much, and the quality of the shirt's absolutely crap. So 2 out of 10 score on the shirt, but it'll get the standard $12 to $15 value. Next, where'd it go? We got a prop replica, Raptor Claw. I like this. I've always wanted one of these. I just watched Jurassic Park the other day, and I've always wanted one of these replicas. Now, as far as replicas are concerned, it's not great. I mean, it looks pretty close to it. I'll get up close here. So that's a close-up view of it, and it's not super great. It's very lightweight. It's more of a plastic feel. And it went a little too hard on the indentation on this here. So it has kind of a weird border to it, which doesn't look accurate at all. And it doesn't look too closely to the one on screen. Not a big deal. I wouldn't expect it to be perfect, but it still looks good from a distance, so I'll keep it. I'm not sure how I'll hang it or display it. I'll have to figure that out. But I thought it was cool nonetheless. Not worth a ton of money though. This on the cheap end is like 15 bucks and probably around the $20 range for something of this quality. If you want it to look like very realistic, you'd have to pay a bunch more, but of this quality, $15 to $20, I think that's fair. Next, where is it? Gladiator pin. So you have the option of a few different ones. That's the one I got. So this is going to run about $10 to $15. Very similar to BAM, they do very nice quality pins. These are very, very nicely done. A little bit bigger, and these do have a limited edition to them. It doesn't say what the number is. If you look in the corner, right here, it just has an X and it says 550, so that means there's a limited run of 550 of these pins, but it doesn't say which edition you got. Which isn't a big deal. That can add value to it, but it doesn't have to. So at least they're doing limited runs, and at least it's printed on there, which does give it some decent value. So this is going to get at least 10 to 15 bucks. The other pin went for a little more, a little bit more rare, but $10 to $15 on the pin. All right, so that brings our total value from on the low end 62 and on the high end 75. This is a $46 box. So again, not quite double the value, but pretty close to it, close enough to it. And for that reason, I'm going to give this box a 6.5 out of 10. Now, I did appreciate the autograph. Pin was pretty cool, but the shirt was kind of crap, and the Raptor Claw it's still cool. I like that prop replica, but wasn't very high quality, so not really knocking it out of the park, but worth it. Still worth it, but they really do need to get some nicer quality shirts. I'm a kind of a stickler for that. It's just you get so many of these shirts and they're crappy quality. They get tossed out because you can't even sell them or give them away half the time. So they really need to bring up the quality on that, and they do need to work on some things with this company. Some of their customer service, and like I said, the problems I had before with them, went into a whole spiel about it. Got everything resolved, but I have to wonder if I didn't threaten them in so many ways, would it ever have been resolved? But, that's a story for another time. So that's my experience with Zobie, and those were the Zobie boxes. Next, another brand new box. The BAM box, and this is the BAM comic box. Let me pull all the shit out. Now, this box I had to do a ton of research on. right there. Bam Comic box. So this box, if I can get it to stay, this box comes with a slabbed comic, and slabbed means graded. I don't know why they don't just say graded. It's weird to say slabbed. And then another comic, and this one came with a comic stand. So not a ton in there, not a lot of variety to be had, but if you want comics like that, then this is the box for you. So let's start off with the big item. They said one slabbed comic every month, and this month is no exception. So right here, we got X-Men #1 variant. So this is a 9.8 from CBCS. And if you didn't watch my video on grading, I'll give you a little quick tutorial. First of all, CBCS is one of the grading companies. The other one is CGC. And that one has more notoriety, and it also is worth a lot more. So why this company didn't go with CGC, I'm not really sure. It seems odd to me that they wouldn't go with one that they know is worth a little more. Maybe they have more of a partnership with CBCS, but they really should have gone with CGC. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that one's worth more than the other, but it just is what it is. CGC's been around a lot longer, so they have more tread in the market, whereas CBCS is a little bit newer. Honestly, I think they're a little more trustworthy from things I've heard from my friends, but they're just not worth as much money. And it's very unfortunate because they do very similar things, but that's how it always is. Example I always give is with Disney. Disney stuff that has Mickey Mouse's face on it, worth a ton of money. It's very collectible. If another company down the road started making those same products with an animated mouse on top of it, it wouldn't be worth as much. And people are saying, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Why isn't it worth the same? It's like, well, because one has a history. One has a lot of popularity. One has a lot for it. Even though another company is doing the exact same thing, this one's been doing it longer, so it's worth more. That's the exact situation with CGC and CBCS. CGC, worth more notoriety. So again, not sure why they went with CBCS, but they did. And it was really hard to find information on this because it's X-Men #1, and if you don't know, there's like 5,000 X-Men #1s out there. They keep doing X-Men #1, and each one has a million variant covers, so it's so hard to research and find values when it's such a generic title like that. So that made it much more difficult. But at least they're doing a variant of it. And they got a signature in there. That's the other thing to note. So CBCS has their signature series, and this is it. This was signed by Gary Dugan. And unfortunately, that doesn't really add a lot of value to it because it's the story writer. Usually when you get a comic signed, it's by the cover artist or one of the artists in there. That's the people you wanted to sign the book. The story artist is cool and all, but it really doesn't add much value to it. The other thing to get it signed by is like actors that have played those characters, or Stan Lee or something like that, someone big name in there, or the artist. It's very rare that anyone would like wait in line to get the storyboard artist to sign it. Again, it's not that it's not cool, but value-wise doesn't add a lot to it. Now, talking about grading, there's a lot of different degrees in price and quality, and that's what all this research was, so we're going to have to talk about that to explain it. Again, CBCS is cheaper than CGC, but CGC, to get a comic graded, roughly, it's going to cost you somewhere between like $30 and $40. Now, they base the value on what the comic is worth. So if you have a really old comic that's very valuable, they're going to charge you more to grade it. But if you have a new one that's modern and not very expensive, they're not going to charge you that much. And this is about as cheap as they get. This is considered modern. After 1975, it's all modern comics. And this was this year. And the value of the comic itself is not very much. Hold on. Pup wants in. Sorry about that. Pup needed to get in here. It's an emergency. Where was I? I lost my place. Okay, sorry. So the comic itself is worth about $20. Just the comic, not graded, anything like that. It is a variant cover, and it is a #1, but it's very modern, it's very new. But it's not worthless at all, but still, it's very cheap, so it's going to get the cheapest grading. So as far as the actual grading is concerned, it's going to cost about $16 to get the book graded, and then there's a service fee on top of that, and then there's also shipping, and then to get this signature authenticated, that's an additional charge too. So adding all that up, it's going to be around $40. Now, you can get things graded on an individual basis. You can also subscribe to these companies and pay a subscription to it, but that only costs, like, the cheap ones, like $25 a year. So when you split that up between 12 months, it's only like an extra $2. So that all being said, again, it's going to cost around $40, give or take, because that signature additional charge is pretty minimal. So that's what this value is going to be, right around $40 for this comic with the signature. And like I said, this specific person's signature is really not adding any value to it. So that's the gist of getting comics graded, and that's how much that one costs. Next, Pup, get out of here. We got another X-Men #1. This is a reprint of the original. It says 2021 on it, but again, that's what I mean. There's another X-Men #1, 2 in the same box. So it's hard to get information on this stuff because there's so many of them out there. But this one is the Kale New. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this one actually goes for a decent amount. This is going for $40, and it's selling for that price. So that's the value on that. So the good news is at least this company is picking comics that aren't just generic. They're not just picking some random one off the shelf, getting it signed and graded. At least they're trying to get ones that have some value, that are variants, that hold some value there. So this was actually a pretty good pick, so not bad there. All right, and the last thing we got was this little comic mount, and this is just so you can mount it on the wall. I'm not going to use these. I frame mine. I have my own system for mounting mine. You can check my channel video. I show a lot of them on there. I do that for my comic mounting. I think it looks a lot nicer than this little thing, but whatever. This goes for about $10. No big deal. It's nice of them to put it in there so you have the option if you don't know how to frame it. So there's that. All right. So now going on to the overall values. So for just the comic on its own, I lost track of myself. So the comic was $20, and then the grade was $42, roughly, plus shipping. Then we got the comic #2. This was $40. The mount was $10. So overall, the total on this one is right around $112 plus shipping. So I say plus shipping because it depends on where you are. If you happen to be right next to these companies, it's not going to cost much to ship it. But if you happen to be cross country and you're sending a few of these books in, that can get very heavy. So that's where I say plus shipping. So the total value is going to be $112 plus shipping, which sounds great. Sounds like a really good value until you find out how much this box costs. After shipping for me, this box costs $90. $90. So the sell price for the box is $76, I think, or $75. And then the shipping was $15 for me because it is a big box. It's very big and it's very heavy, having the graded comic in there. So it's going to cost you pretty close to that. Maybe not quite as much as that, but it's going to be pretty close to a $90 box. That being said, that's nowhere near double the value. And I don't think you're ever going to get that. I don't think you're ever going to get double the value there. And I think they are expecting people to pay a lot more for graded comics than they're actually worth. But that being said, you got some decent stuff in here. At least they chose a variant comic and 2 variant comics that are worth a decent amount. There's only 2 of them in there, so it's not super exciting, but you know, at least they're trying. So I'm going to give this box a 6 out of 10. I think it's worth it if you're a big comic fan. But it's kind of hard to sell this because you really don't know what's coming, and that's a lot. And this is a monthly thing, every single month, $90 a month. Who has that kind of money? And it sucks for me, one, because as per usual with all these companies, you always get charged for the second month before receiving your first box. So I got charged twice. I just wanted to try one, but they charged me twice before the first one came, so I get stuck with 2. I just can't afford that, and I don't think most people can. But if you are a big comic fan and you do have the money, yeah, why not try it? So at least, worst case scenario, you are getting some graded variants that on their own are worth something. I do think they need to work on the signatures, so we'll get at least one more to see if they keep that same pattern, because if they're only getting it signed by like the story artist, then I really don't think that's worth it. I think they need to do a little better, like get the artist to sign or something like that. They need to work a little hard on the signature because it's really not adding any significant value. And again, I don't know why they didn't go with CGC. That would make these comics worth more, but they just didn't do that. So there's a lot they can work on. There's a lot they can improve on, and hopefully they do. And I don't know if we'll see a huge improvement from the next month, but I can't afford to keep doing this over and over again, so we'll just have to make the best of it. So that was my long-winded explanation on the BAM comic box and grading. Hopefully that made some sense. I know it was kind of jumbled in there, but whatever. All right, next. What are you doing? Next is Geek Fuel. So hopefully I can get this out. All right. What do we got? So, first off, we'll start off with the shirt, as we always get. Let's take a look. There is our shirt. Ta-da. Alright, getting a good look. And that's obviously from the Big Lebowski. Now, as far as the value on this, is going to get the standard $12 to $15 value. But as far as a score on the shirt, I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 10. Was not impressed with it at all. The one good thing that this box has going for it, they do decent quality shirts. So the quality on them's good. So that's one thing you can count on. Past that, not a big fan of the design. It's fine, but not a lot to it. And again, they've done the thing that Loot Crate used to always do that pissed me off. It's way too bright. They need to do more subtle colors, more of a grayish blue or a soft blue or something like that. This is just too gnarly blue, and it just looks weird when you're out and about wearing this like super brightly colored shirt. It's just awkward. So they need to work on the color of that a little bit more and things like that. So this is one that I probably wouldn't keep even if it does fit well, because I just wasn't a big fan of it. So that's my score on the shirt, 4 out of 10, but it'll get the standard $12 to $15 value. Next, we got an action figure. Kinda. We got a very tiny action figure. Now, everyone had the chance to get one of these. G.I. Joe action figure. And I don't even know if you call it an action figure. It seems stationary. You got the option of like just the classic G.I. Joe characters. There were 6 different options. I got Snake Eyes, sure. But this is very tiny. This is a very low quality thing. They themselves only put the value at $5. But this is, I don't know, it just seems very lackluster. To go from their Super 7 or their Quantum Mechanic toys and get this one just kind of seems like a filler. But online, they could go for more depending on what character you got. So I'm going to be generous on the value, give it a $5 to $10 value. But again, that's being very generous. Next, we got a mug. And it's a heat change mug from Predator. Doesn't show it on the box. Hopefully the picture of it will show. So that's kind of what it looks like on the heat change mug. And that's kind of cool because Predator had that whole heat vision thing. Now, mugs in general are very common. We get a lot of mugs in these boxes, especially heat change ones. So again, not a ton of value there. They value it at $12. And I think that's pretty accurate. I'm going to say like 12 to 15. But again, I don't even know if it's worth that much. That just seems to be what it's going for online. Then, 2 more things. We got a pin of Mr. T. This is actually an exclusive pin. Hopefully I'm showing an up-close picture of it right now, but there's one on the description card. So this is a pin of Mr. T from Pin Pals. This actually goes for a decent amount because it is exclusive, so that's going to get a $10 to $12 value, sorry. And then we got a sticker, just of a Cobra sticker. Not much to that, $1 to $3, if even that, so not a lot of value there. So this box was not super great, I must say. This company's been doing really great lately, but it seems like this month they kind of shit the bed. Honestly, looking at these items, I feel like there's something missing. I feel like they're missing a main item. There's usually a shirt, one big item, and a bunch of small items, and it seems like they just didn't put the big item in there. It seems like all the items in here are all the filler items. There was no main Super 7 figure, or like I said, the Quantum Mechanics figure, or a Pop figure, or something like that. There was no main item. It just kind of seems like it's missing. So the value on this is very low. On the low end it's 40, and on the high end it's 55. And they kind of tried to do something kind of sneaky here. So in their description card, they put their own values, which I think is nice because they're kind of doing what I do, like telling you what it's worth, so telling you where you're getting the value. You know, it's nice of them to do, but they did something sneaky here. So the shirt, you'll see it says a $25 value, which I thought was weird because I thought they only valued their shirts at $20, and I went back and looked at the previous cards, and they did. They always valued their shirts at $20, and this one was lacking items for whatever reason and had a very low value, so they just said it's worth more, which I think is very sneaky and kind of shows that they knew that this had a lot less value, so they just kind of flubbed the numbers and made something worth more to make it seem like you were getting more value. So if I had to guess, there was another item planned for this, and it got canceled for whatever reason, and they couldn't just say it's coming later if it got canceled, so they just put out the box without that item and made them seem like they're worth more than they actually are. Because what other reason would there be for them to say all their shirts are worth $20, then all of a sudden, this one's worth $25? And to be perfectly honest, this is one of the worst shirts they've had. Some of their older shirts were really awesome in quality and in design. So why would those ones be worth $20 and this one would be worth $25? So very odd to me that they would do that, and it seems kind of obvious what their intention was here. Anyway, for that reason, I'm only giving this box a 4 out of 10. The shirt got a 4 out of 10 score. It's very low on the value. And the items in here, there's nothing really that stands out. We got a very generic mug, a very small figure. The pin was fine. At least the mug and the pin, at least they're exclusive. So at least there is that, which we do appreciate. But if you're going to do something exclusive, don't do a mug. Everyone does mugs. Mugs are too easy. That's just... do something more interesting than just a mug. Like, I don't know. So it was very lackluster, which is surprising from this company because they've been so good for so long. They've really been pushing it, and they've done some fantastic stuff. But this month, like I said, swing and a miss. So that was Geek Fuel. All right, moving right along. What else we got here? Oh, Marvel Collector Core. So we got this. All right. So this is from the What If series. We got the shirt. Take it out of the plastic. I always like the smell of new shirts. All right, here we go. So this is from the first episode, I believe. So we got Captain Carter. And then we got the Hydra Stomper. So that's a cool shirt. I've said this a million times. I wish they would go back to the old ways of doing things, where not everything had to be a pop character. Every t-shirt design has pop characters on it. It's like, just do a regular design. I'd like this shirt so much better if it just looked like a comic book and not like pop figures on my shirt. Like, how many shirts do I need with pop figures on it? That's just too much. Just do normal comic book designs. It's still a comic book box at the end of the day with comic book characters. Just do a normal hand-drawn design. I would like this shirt a million times better. But... that being said, as far as value, it gets the $12 to $15 value. And as far as the score, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Because it is still a good shirt. I think it looks cool. I just much prefer a comic style versus another pop shirt. But it's still a good design. I like the colors on it. And again, I like the color of the shirt. It's more subtle. Something that I might actually wear. And the Funko shirts are decent. They're not amazing, but they're pretty good. They're pretty high in quality. Not the best, but... enough to where I would wear it and feel comfortable in it. So that's why it gets a 6 out of 10. All right. Then, got a little pin, a little Captain Carter pin. It's literally just the shield. And again, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. They should really put backings on these. They would be worth so much more and look so much nicer if they put just a small cardboard backing. Really wouldn't cost much, but it would make these look significantly more valuable. Because right now, this just looks so basic. This looks like something you get for free at a convention that people just hand out. Whereas as soon as you put a backing on it, it brings up the value a lot. And that's why this pin's only worth about $5 to $7. If it had a backing, I think it would be more in that $10 to $15 range, but they don't. They're just kind of cheaping out on that, which is very unfortunate because it, again, missed opportunity. Then we got a sticker, which, who fucking cares? The T'Challa Star-Lord here. But this is actually going for a decent amount. This sticker is actually going for like $5, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is for a sticker. Usually, I was in the habit of giving stickers like a $0 value or even $1, but you know, they're actually selling for that price, so I can't really argue with it. So $5 for the sticker. All right, then of course, as always, we get 2 pop figures. Carefully take them out. All right. So the first one is the Collector, and then we got post-apocalyptic Black Widow. That's hard to say. So the Black Widow is going for a decent amount. That's going for around $25, and for obvious reasons, just a much more popular character. Then we got the Collector. That's only going for about $10 to $15. I like the Collector. I like him as a character. I like Benicio del Toro. I think he's a good actor. So I like to see him, and I liked his episode on What If. So I would assume it would have been worth more, but it's not. So I'm guessing he's just not that popular. So it gets a lower value. But Black Widow's very popular, especially with her movie out. But still, I wish they would have done different characters, though. I wish they would have done more show-specific characters. I know they have the pops out there for them, but post-apocalyptic Black Widow just looks very similar to regular Black Widow. There's very minor details in the costume change, so it's just not different enough to merit its own exclusive pop figure. And the same with the Collector. He's obviously got the no t-shirt thing, but again, that's a very subtle thing. I just wish they would have picked character-specific things like we saw, like Captain Carter, or that we've only seen in the show, or the Hydra Stomper. That would have been much better to get those than these characters that are just a little bit different. So all that being said, value-wise, on the low end, we got 57. On the high end, 67. So pretty much double the value. And so I think that's pretty good. Everything in here is exclusive. The t-shirt's decent quality. It's good enough to wear. Had a decently good design. We got exclusive pop figures that do hold some value. Even the cheap ones still at least worth what a normal pop would cost. And then even the stickers holding some value. Again, they have room for improvement. The things I said about the pin and some of the other variety of pop figures. So room for improvement, but I highly doubt Funko gives a shit what I think. So I doubt we'll see that improvement anytime soon or ever. But that being said, I'm going to give this box a 7 out of 10. I think it's worth it. It's always been worth the value. And every once in a while you get like a crazy rare pop that's just worth hundreds of dollars. So that's always worth it to me. Marvel's my favorite fandom. I'll always keep this box around. But sometimes they're just kind of hit and miss. Alright, next. We got the BAM box. Classic BAM Geek box. And they had a big announcement on Friday. They're doing more boxes, which usually I don't care about, but they're doing one that's a cartoon box. So I did order that one because that's what I've saying for a long time they should focus on. Their autographs should be voice actors. They're very easy to get, and it's things that we'd really enjoy because it's characters that we loved from our childhood. So that's what I said they should focus on, and I guess they kind of listened because they're doing a box specifically for that. So I may just switch over because this one's very hit and miss. I feel like the cartoon one will be more aligned with what I want, so I may make the switch, but that is coming, so we will see a review of that. Other than that, let's get right into this box. Alright, got all the stuff. Alright. Celebrity autograph. Jeb Reese from... What's the fucking movie? I hate it when I know something and then as soon as I'm recording... Galaxy Quest. Fuck me. I just watched a documentary on this too. Galaxy Quest is a very popular movie, and I watched a whole documentary on it on how there's such a huge following for that movie. So, a very popular movie, one of the very minor characters, but again, I've said it a million times, this is the kind of autograph you can expect. You recognize the movie, you recognize the character by his face, but I doubt anyone would have known his name right off the bat. That's almost always what we're going to get. And that's fine. I'll keep this. It's something that I recognize. And I'm not a huge Galaxy Quest fan. I didn't love the movie like some people do, but I at least recognize it. So we got that there. Then we got our artist print. I got one of the one-up ones, a variant one, but they have the regular one, which is just this with more color. And, oh, sorry. Forgot to talk about the value. Value on this is going to be $20 to $25, which is around, it's pretty standard price for autographs of that variety. Then we got our Artist Alley. This is worth about $10. They almost always are. And honestly, I kind of feel like BAM should start moving away from this. It was really cool when they first started out because they got really popular artists, like really cool comic book artists to make these. And those hold a lot of value, and they still do to this day. But now it's more, not necessarily like fan art, but people that are much lesser known. And the art quality is not super great. This one's not bad or anything, but they've had ones in there that are pretty bad. And they just really don't hold any value. They still go through the trouble to have them signed and numbered, which is appreciated. But if the art itself and the artist isn't valuable, then signing a number, it's kind of redundant because it doesn't give it any extra value. So I kind of feel like at this point, BAM should start moving away from this and try to find something else to put in there. Because they do a lot of these, and they're just getting very common, and they really don't hold value, and they just are, I'm assuming, just kind of getting thrown away over time. But that's getting about a $10 value. Then we got our prop replica, and this is one of the stones from the Fifth Element. Now, supposedly you have the chance to get one of 4, but I've only seen this Earth one posted for sale online. And I actually like this. It's decent quality, but I'm kind of surprised they made it so tiny. I feel like they could have made it a lot bigger. Maybe not necessarily the life size, because it would have been too heavy and not fit in the box. But I would have thought like a little bigger than this. I thought it was very odd that it went so tiny. But I really like them, and I actually wanted to go and collect all 4 of them. But they're going for a pretty expensive amount. The value on that's like $15 to $20, and some people are charging even more than that. So I don't personally think it's worth that, but if people are paying for it, then that's what it's worth. But as far as the quality on it, I think it's very nice. That was a really cool movie, a good throwback to that. So I think that was a good choice and a good prop replica. And I can just kind of describe that it just feels like decent quality. It looks decent quality. It's very well done. So I really like that. I think that was a good choice. Then we got our pin from Roger Rabbit. I got the classic one here. You had the option of getting one of the other ones. And this was the, what's it called? The bullet. Toon bullet, I guess they called it. I call it the racist bullet because there was other ones in there from that movie that were very racist. They're very racist bullets. So it's just kind of funny to watch movies from the 90s and see how so many racist things were okay to say back then. So we got a racist bullet pin, and that's going for about $10 to $12. And then we got our little card. Fuck did it go? Still in there? It is. Got our little artist card in here. And for the longest time, I was giving these 0 value. But, you know, they actually are selling online to my surprise. I didn't think anyone would care about them, but some people actually do. They are collecting these little cards. So, yeah, and it is actually a limited number, so it should get some value. Again, not a lot. I'm going to give it a $3 to $5 value. But I just wanted to take note that it does have a limited run to it, so that should get some value. I personally wouldn't pay that much for it. I don't think it's really worth putting in there, but if some people are willing to pay that, then fine. Then I guess it's worth putting in there. So a $3 to $5 value on that. That brings our total value. On the low end, 58, and on the high end, 72. Not quite double the value, but I think they did pretty decently this time around. The autograph is right around what you'd expect, someone you'd recognize, but no one crazy famous. Artist Alley is there. It's always just kind of a random print. Again, I think they should kind of start moving away from that or go back to getting some really good name artists. Prop is very well done. Pins are always very well done. They do a really good job on those. And the card is there. So overall, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I like the things that were good about it. I always liked the autograph, and the prop was good this time around. And the other stuff, pin as well was good. And the other stuff was just kind of there. And it always is. It doesn't have a ton of value, but it's something nice to have in there. And I think they need to rethink some of the things they have. But I'm excited to see what they do with the cartoon box, so we'll see what it happens from there. One more to go. My mouth is getting so dry. Loot Crate. This box took forever to get here. Very delayed. These are the boxes of August, by the way. So very delayed getting here. And I did order the Ninja Turtles boxes that were a summer set. Box, 5 boxes, or 4 boxes, so those are coming soon. It said it shipped, should be here any day now, and I'll probably do a review of that as well. But here we just got our standard box, and let's take a look. Got our shirt here. And this is Aang from Avatar. Is it focusing? This one I like. I think they did a good job on the shirt. Loot Crate shirts are not the best. I would say that Geek Fuels are the best. Funko after that. And then Loot Crate after that. So they're not great. They're not horrible. They're just so-so. They sometimes fit. They most of the time don't. So even when they have a cool design, I often can't wear them because they don't do high-quality shirts. But as far as the design on it, it's really cool. And it's, again, I think they listen to me because they're not doing this super bright, gnarly blue. A soft, subtle blue. Looks like air or water or something like that. Something that you could wear and not look like you're wearing a Halloween costume because it's so fucking bright. So I think they finally listened to me and started doing some more soft, subtle, muted tones. So they did a good job of that here. And I like the design of it. It looks like an original design. Very well done. So as far as the shirt's concerned, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because the quality doesn't meet my standards, but I think it would be fine for most people. I don't think the average person is quite as picky about their shirts as I am, so I kind of try to judge it based on that. And this does have a decent design on it. I like the design on it, and I like the color of it. So 7 out of 10 on the score of the shirt. but it'll get the standard $12 to $15 value. Next, we got the final piece to our Guardians puzzle. So this was a 4-piece set. We already got Rocket and Gamora and Star-Lord, and now we got Groot. And I'll go ahead and open this up and show you this firsthand, because personally, I like this one the best. I think the design of Groot was far better than the other ones. So let's see if I can get the camera to focus on this Groot. There we go. Good enough. There we go. So that's our Groot. And I think they did a decently good job. I think he looks the coolest of all the Guardians figures, because they really got some detail in there, like all the like splintering of the wood and stuff like that. And they went with a different one that doesn't look exactly like the movie. It looks more like the comic, which I appreciate. I like that. So I like that they did a 4-part set, and I like that I have all the parts now. I think that's really cool. Woof. Sorry, I had to trade puppies. Wolf was growling at the door, and now he's going to be distracting in the video. So thank you for that, and thank you for walking all over my stuff. Fuck! Dude, chill. I have valuables here. Relax. Okay, back to the figure. So one thing about this box, I'm pretty sure I'm the first one to get this box, because Loot Crate is based out of LA, and I'm in San Diego, which is like a 2-hour drive away. And so this just came yesterday, and I think I'm the only person that's gotten it so far because I'm so close to them. Because I tried to look the values up of these online, nowhere to be found. Not a single person has made a single listing on any of them, so I had to do my best to estimate. So as far as the Groot value is concerned, the other figures are going for 10 to 15, so I think this should be about the same. Obviously, the character does matter. The more popular characters are going to be worth more. Groot's not the most popular. I feel like Rocket is. So I think he's going to be just the average price. So I'm giving it a $12 to $15 value. Next, we got a doormat, or just a floor mat. And this is from Galaga. So that's what it looks like. And as you can see, it's a much softer design. So I think they should have gone with like a rougher one, because I don't know where you put these soft ones. Like this goes on the inside of the house. Like I feel bad wiping my feet on something that feels really soft like this. So I was hoping for the more gritty tone. I guess it could be a bath mat. It didn't really specify what kind of mat it is. It just said mat. So I guess that would be a bath mat, but I'm okay with this. I don't know if everyone would love this, but having bought my own house, I have more use for things like this. Things like floor mats and stuff like that I just never really thought about before. Now I have a use for, and now I appreciate. But I don't think everyone's in that situation. Woof! Quit it! I don't think everyone's in that situation, so not everyone might like that. But as far as the value on that, there was, I'm going to guess, like 15 to 20 maybe, but I could be totally wrong on that. So we'll have to see what the price ends up being when people actually start to sell this. But if I had to guess, I'd say around that amount. Then, lastly, we have a pin. And this is of the Jurassic Park mosquito. A little hard to see, and there's not much to it. So this pretty much is just like a picture. There's not a real mosquito, which again I think is a missed opportunity. It would have been a really cool pin if they did like an actual piece of like, not resin, what's the word, sap. Like it looked like the real sap with a little mosquito in there. It would have looked so much cooler if they made it look more realistic. I realized that would have been out of their price range, but this looks kind of goofy because the prior pins are enamel and they at least have a texture to them, like the outline of whatever it is has that texture of that. It's hard to explain the texture of that pin, but this is just like soft and smooth, so it just looks very cheap. It just looks like a little picture piece of paper with a pin on it, so not super high quality, and for that reason, it's only going to get a $5 to $6 value. So, on the low end, we have 42, on the high end, 56. Not quite double, but pretty close to that 75 percent range that you're getting added onto it. So for that reason, I'm getting a 6 out of 10. There are things I really liked and things I didn't like so much, but Loot Crate does seem like it's getting better. It finally seems like NECA has finally taken that company by the balls and is really doing some nicer quality stuff. Because this seems like more NECA quality, not those goofy Wonder Woman G.I. Joe figures we got so many months ago. So this actually looks decent. I think they have a lot of room to improve on as far as the t-shirt quality and small things like the pin and stuff like that, but overall I thought it was a pretty good box. But I don't think everyone will appreciate the mat. I don't think everyone would have a use for it because it's not really a collector's item, you know? It's just kind of a random thing. But I was overall pleased with it. And I do want to try more from the Loot Crate company. I have seen some of the Loot Crate DX boxes that have some good stuff in there, but it's so expensive. And it's such a shame when companies have really good boxes, but they just charge way too much for it. Because I want the stuff in there, but I just don't want to pay the outrageous box price for it. So I may suck it up soon and just order one of them just to try it out again, to review it again. Because it's been a few years since I've tried it out. But, you know, it does seem like Loot Crate is genuinely listening and getting a little bit better. Woof, for fuck's sake. Quit it. Well, Woof's going to be distracting now, so might as well wrap the video up. So that was all the boxes. I'm pretty sure that was 7. I may have missed one. I know it was a lot of long-winded explanations, and a lot may be confusing, but that's okay. If something is confusing, please just ask in the comments. I read every single comment, and if there's a question, I will respond to it. So if you were confused about something because I'm just talking too fast, or Woof's distracting, or there's a puppy, or there's something wrong with the computer, tons of stuff happens that can make this video very confusing. Just ask a question, and you'll get an answer, and then more people will know that because they'll read the comment. Other than that, thank you for watching and supporting. Venom this week, later this week, so that will be the next review. Very excited for that movie. That's the next video you'll see. It may take me a few days to edit this, but we will see you very soon. So again, thank you for watching and supporting. See you on the next video. Love you all. Peace.